Good morning, everybody. Today is going to be a bit of a different video, not because we're not working on cars, but because of the car that we are working on. Today, we're going to be working on my 1984 Volkswagen Rabbit. So as you guys can see, we have been painting this interior. One of the things that we have to do is replace this floorboard because, oh, hey doggies. But this floorboard has a lot of rust. This is the only one that does, so we have to replace that one. I have it ordered and everything, so we just have to cut it out and then put it in. That'll be its own task. But I want to get all of this top area painted because we have a nice floor right here. All of this is cool, but it's not this kind of white that is like new, if you know what I mean. So I want to paint this area back here, see if we can get this area squared away. And if you guys don't know already, I'm writing all of your guys' names down on here. I have probably 100 names to write down on my phone right now, but if you guys leave a rabbit emoji in the comments, I will write your name down here as well. But let's get started. I want to clean this area up because it's been a little bit since I've been in here, so I can clean it up a little and then we can start actually painting. So to clean this area, what I use is this. This is not an actual interior detailer. This is just soap and water. Dawn dish soap mixed with water, and it works really well just to get all the stuff that's not supposed to be in here, like all this dirt and stuff like that. It gets it out really well, and then I just wipe it down with a towel. Then what we do is we wire brush, and then we sand, and that is the hardest part. The painting is actually not that bad, and it's pretty easy, but the hard part is the preparation. Having better preparation will make your product come out better. That's what I've learned over doing this kind of thing and painting other things as well. Your prep is always almost 100% more important than your actual paint or whatever you're doing. Welding is the same way. If you don't prep your surface correctly, you're not going to have a good weld because you don't have a surface that's going to bond well and stuff like that. So preparation is the biggest thing for these kind of projects. We are going to need a couple tools from in the garage though, so let's grab those. Drill number 1 and drill number 2. Alright, let's get to cleaning. One thing that I cannot recommend enough is a good shop vac. Something like this makes it really easy to clean up surfaces and have them prepped really well without having to do a lot of work, as in like wiping it down and getting it off with a towel yourself. Hi Arnold. But yeah, let's get to work. Alright, we got our surface kind of clean with the vacuum, just to make sure there's no more loose stuff, and now we can wipe it down and get it all clean. Alright, we have these surfaces nice and prepped. So for this first part, what I'm going to do is focus right here on this section right here and this section, and then we'll do like kind of lower to upper, if that makes sense. We'll start down here and then we'll go up. We have a couple different sanding blocks, so let's get to sanding. Alright, cool. We have this whole area right here kind of sanded down. So I'm going to clean up with a shop vac, and then we'll clean up with a spray and a towel, and then we'll be ready for paint right here. Whenever you're sanding or anything, it's taking material away, so you have to get it up somehow. Otherwise, it's going to go over the paint and it's going to leave patchy marks that you don't want. So you want to clean it after you sand really well, get it nice and smooth, and then the paint will stick as well as we can wipe it down, and it'll be really nice. our little corner right here is now ready for paint. All right, and for paint, this is what I have. Some Rust-Oleum. It's a gloss protective enamel, as you can see right here, and it's just a white color. Any kind of this Rust-Oleum, you can kind of get any of the white paint and it'll look the same. I've done it with like 3 different cans and the whole thing looks good. So we're gonna do this and paint right here, and then we'll get the rest of the rear as well. When you're doing any kind of this painting, make sure you are in a nice and well ventilated area. When I'm inside of the car, I have a big fan that runs and takes all the fumes out, and I also have a mask on so I don't breathe in any of this stuff. Make sure if you are painting, you're in a well ventilated area, or you can create an area like that with a big fan or something. But just after one coat, we have a pretty good looking side right here. I'm gonna let it dry for probably 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna do a second coat. While we are waiting for this paint to dry, let me explain to you guys kind of how I got this car and where it came from and all that, because you guys haven't really heard the story, because this is the first video on it. If you guys follow the Instagram or TikTok, you would know, but let's explain it. This was my dad's car after high school-ish. He bought this, and it was literally just like this. It had one seat, no carpet, nothing, no dash, nothing, literally just pedals, the wheel, and the seat. So he got this car and he loved it. It was a 2.0. He turboed it. So he had a 2.0 turbo, and it wasn't EFI or anything, so there was no computer telling it how much boost to push or anything, so he eventually blew it up. He did that about 10 years ago, and since then it sat in my grandparents' backyard. So a few months ago, me and a buddy brought the car over, and I was like, I want to restore this thing because I think it's awesome and it's super original, and it's just something that nobody else is going to have. So if we walk over to the engine bay, we have quite literally nothing. We have our exhaust headers going down to the exhaust, and we have our brake master cylinder, but that's about it. So my plan is to put a 1.8 turbo engine in here. So there are conversion kits online for this car in specific. For the conversion kit, which comes with motor mounts, transmission mounts, and a pair of axles, custom axles, it'll run me about $1,000 just for that kit. So I have to save up some money, and hopefully by the end of this year we can get motor, transmission, and the swap kit so that we can put it all in, and then little things like ECU and stuff like that so that we can actually have the motor run. I think the best case scenario would be to get a donor car, but that's kind of hard because those are a little expensive depending on what you get. But for now, we can do a lot of stuff with this car even without an engine. That's why we're doing all this. And eventually, I want to put a 3.2 liter VR6 into this, build a head for it, and put a big turbo on it, have it push a lot of horsepower in a car that weighs about 1,500 pounds. It'll be really quick. For that, we'd also need to do like an all-wheel drive conversion to like an R32, if you guys know what that is. It's just the highest trim model that you could get of a GTI, like a Mark IV or something. That's a little further down the road, hopefully in a couple years. But putting a 1.8T, having to be front-wheel drive, have some bead locks, something like that, making even 200 horsepower on this thing, weighing 1,500 pounds, it's gonna feel like 500 in a BMW. And then I also, before we do anything with that, I want to put like a half roll cage or something into this rear. There are rear seats for this car that I have, but I'm not sure I want to keep them. I think having a roll cage would be a lot safer idea too, because this car does weigh so little. But yeah, that's kind of how I got the car and how it came to be. Our paint should be dry by now. Let's do that. And now we have this section all done, and I just think that looks so good. Just little things like this kind of paint costs maybe $10, and then you can get sanding blocks for super cheap. Just doing this kind of stuff to a car, I think it makes it look so much better. if I were to leave it like this, I think I'd regret it because I'd be looking around and I think it's ugly. Let's get working on this side. I won't make you guys watch the whole process again, so let's do a time lapse. Sweet, she is all done now. So now we have this whole rear side right here done. I'm gonna do in here last because I keep all the stuff that I used to paint in here, so we'll do that last. But now it's time to do the upper part over here, these and this. We'll leave the roof for now, and then we'll do the hatch as well. But this stuff is going to require a lot more prep because we're going to have to use painter's tape to kind of mark off areas we don't want paint on, because these windows are really nice and they're not cracked or anything. We can reuse them and keep them on the car without having to get new ones, and I'd rather not have paint on them. Like I said earlier, prep is the most important part of any kind of painting you will do. I got a second painted coat and all of that done on the Rabbit. I've got a couple places to go be right now, so I will see you guys either tonight or tomorrow. Hello everybody. It's been about 3 hours, and our paint has dried pretty well. I got everything that I needed to get done, and so now we can work on the car a little more. So, what are we gonna do? This area right here needs to be painted, and I want to paint it sooner rather than later, so we can start writing our names down. I have probably 100 more that I have to write, as I've said before. So, let's get started. I want to paint this area. I think it'll really tie in, because when you look at it from over here, all of this looks good, and then right there just doesn't look amazing. So here to there, I want to be able to get done, and then I want to try and get this area done as well. And then hopefully in about 2 days, this pan will be here. I can cut this one out, weld the other one in, and we'll have a fully painted and nice interior. All right. Time to get to work. As I said, I'm going to be working this area right here first. Clean it, sand it, all that good stuff, and then we can paint. And now after a lot of sanding, we have the area nice and smooth. But as you can tell, my hands are gross from the material that came off. So we're gonna vacuum it up, and then we're gonna spray it and get all the crap off that the vacuum doesn't get, and then we can finally paint it. Alright, I vacuumed everything that I need to, as much as I could, so now it's time to spray it down, wipe it, and then we can get some painter's tape along, just block off the areas we don't want to paint, and then we can paint. Alright, everything is nice and wiped off, now we can just mask off what we need to, and we'll be good to paint. I'm gonna get new lenses here along the rear. I just wanted to make sure no paint gets inside of them just in case. As well as, I wanted to block off this weather stripping just because I think that looked dumb white. So, but now everything is blocked off and I can actually paint. Alright, this can is pretty much empty, so I have one more can and I'm gonna use that one. Alright, we have our area painted. Now it's time to let it sit for about 10 minutes. It is a little bit spotty in some areas, so we let it sit and then paint over it, and it'll have a nice even coat to go along with it. But I mean, I think it looks pretty good for what it is. It's all going to be one color. It's not going to be a mismatch. It's not going to be all torn up. I think it looks really good. There are way too many fumes in this car, so it's time to get out of here. Been about 10 minutes. Let's start that second coat of paint on. Alright, now we have our second coat of paint on, so we can let it dry a little, and then we can work on our final area of this video, and that is going to be here, and the other side as well, in the same place, as well as down here. And we got the same process as before, except for the fact that we're going to be taping along the window. We do clean, sand, and then our painter's tape, and then we paint. Alright, I got a nice clean on this little driver's side right here, but what I'm going to do is wait. I'm going to clean this side as well, but before we do that, I want to let the paint fully dry for about 24 hours before I even start doing any sanding, because once you sand, the material is going to fall and it's going to get into the paint. So if I wait about a day, the paint will be cured enough so that it won't absorb that material. I'm going to finish up on this side, but I'm going to see you guys tomorrow when I get back to work and sand and paint this area. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you guys are. It's currently a new day, so let's pick up back on the Rabbit. The two things I want to finish today are the sides that we were doing in the last clip, and then the hatch, and then we'll be done with the rear. So what I want to do is this right here, and both of our sides. So for that, we're going to have to tape off these windows, probably take off this seat belt right here on both sides, do the same thing, tape off, and then tape off this window, and maybe tape off this or take the strut off, and then we'll paint. You guys can see our paint from yesterday. I think it turned out pretty well, and we have all this done too. As I'm filming right now, something just came in for that car, and I'm excited to show you guys. Here it is. Let's open it up. Our brand new floor pan for the Rabbit. And here is where this is gonna go. Alright, so this panel goes right here, and it goes actually under this piece right here. What we can do is just cut the panel wherever we need and then just replace the part that we need. Here is not terrible, no rust or anything. It is kind of gross though, but what we can do is cut this out, this whole panel right here, cut it to the same as this, and then we can weld a new one in, paint it, and we'll be good. But first we gotta deal with the inside over here. Alright, the plan is to do the inside windows first, these two right here, and then we'll do the hatch. So let's get to it. Alright, first things first, I think I want to take the seat belt off so I can get a good clean over here, as well as I can start taping this area off. Sweet, and she's all out. Alright, now we can start taping off this window right here so we don't get paint on it. Alright, this is going to take a little while, so I'm going to finish up the window and I'll show you guys when I'm done. Alright, I have this area all taped off as well as I can. It's time to sand, then we'll vacuum it, and then we'll rinse it off, and then we can paint it. Alright, we have this area now painted. Same thing as yesterday, we're going to let it dry for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come lay down a second coat, and then we can work on either down here or the other side. next thing I'd like to work on is right here, this area. We'll get this finished up and then we'll be done with this side and we can work on the other side. We have the side painted now, and now we just gotta wait and then we can fill in these little areas and then we'll be done with this half. Now she is all painted and I think it looks pretty good. Alright, first things first, I'm gonna remove this whole seat belt because it was easier on that side to take the whole thing out, so that's what I'm gonna do here. Alright, top bolt is out. Now just for this bottom one. Now we got this seat out. And now, same thing as always, time to prep this. Once I'm done prepping it, I'll let you guys know. I won't bore you with the whole prep. I'll prep it and then we can paint. Alright, I have now got a fully prepped surface and it's ready to be painted. Hopefully I have enough paint to do this. I definitely don't have enough to do the hatch, but hopefully I have enough to do all this. Alright, I was able to get a pretty good coat all the way around. Let it dry for a little, and then we do our second coat, hopefully enough to finish that, and then I need another can to do the hatch. And while we're waiting for all the paint to dry, I thought it'd be a good idea to start writing down some names, because I have a lot to write. Alright, these are all that I have right now, so I'll let you know when I either finish or am done for what I am for now. And now we got a bunch more names down. I would keep going, but the markers that I'm using are dying, so I gotta get another one. But for now, we got like almost all the names down, which is pretty cool. Remember, if you guys want your name down here as well, make sure that you subscribe as well as comment a rabbit emoji down below. But after painting this, it needs a second coat, and I have no more paint. So let's run to the store, and we'll grab some more of the same paint, and then we can finish up this area and then the hatch as well. Let's go start the Jetta up. I also just got this piece in the mail for this back right door, and I think it looks so good. It ties the whole thing together. Alright, we are back from the parts store, and we have not one, but 2 cans of paint because they were on sale. It also is night outside, but we'll get some lights up because I want to finish this tonight. Alright, we have got some good light now. Now I gotta give this a second coat, and then our interior will be done. We just gotta do the hatch. I'm not as worried about these windows because there is tint on them right now. It's not great, but there is tint, so I can peel it off and re-tint them when I want to. I'm gonna look around, see if there's anywhere I need to touch up, and then we'll get to the hatch. Alright, now time to do the same exact thing we've been doing, just on the hatch. Clean, and then sand, and then paint, and then we'll be done. Alright, I'm gonna give this about 10-20 minutes to dry, and then we'll come do a second coat and we'll be done. And just like that, we are done. And just like that, we're all done with the rear. Thank you guys so much for watching. These videos are for you guys at the end of the day. And I enjoy making them, but what's the point if nobody watches them, right? Even if it's 1, 2, 3 people who watch all the way to the end. That's what matters to me. And I'm glad that I was able to share my experience as well as the journey to get to kind of where I am, you know? If you guys don't know, I have a goal for this year, and that's YouTube is 20K. It's a big goal, but I think we can do it. Let me know down in the comments what kind of videos you guys want to see. I know the next video on this car at least will definitely be to do with this floor plan. I have it in the box right now just so it doesn't get all scratched up, but if we can get the welder figured out, I really want to put that in, and then we can finish up the whole interior, and I think that'll be really, really cool because we'll have an interior, and then I can start putting it together actually, which will be really nice. But yeah, if you guys have suggestions, let me know. But overall, I think that's going to be it for this one. If you guys like this kind of video, and you guys like what I did to the car, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to drive safely. See you guys later.